Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Little Fella Sports Podcast. And as you can see, we've got Johns Benny, obviously famously known as Big Crazy Johns on Twitter, joining us today. Thanks a lot, John, for first of all joining us for this cricket podcast. We're obviously here to talk about the Rajasthan Royals and their chances heading into the IPL 2021. So first things first, Johns. IPL 2020 was a difficult season for Rajasthan Royals. Obviously, they finished bottom of the league. They had Steve Smith as captain back then. Obviously, they've made the change to Sanju Samson right now, but looking at IPL 2020, it was a very disappointing season from Rajasthan Royals' perspective because they always have a very strong core of foreign players, but somehow the Indian core is where they're lacking a bit. Obviously, things have changed, but looking at IPL 2020, what do you think? What do you think went wrong for them in general? Why do you think they finished so badly?
I think it was a total team failure. Only Jofra Archer was the perfect or a consistent performer for them. Even Sanju Samson shown that glimpses, but he wasn't consistent through the tournament. Ben Stokes came lately due to some personal reasons, and he started. He didn't start really well, but scored 100 against Mumbai Indians. Even Josh Butler was sent in the middle order, but he wasn't that great as compared to 2018 and 2019. We have seen how well Josh Butler was playing for Rajasthan Royals. So it was a mixed season. Apart from Jofra Archer, even Karthik Tyagi was a good prospect. He bowled really well, but we all know it is tough to come directly into the IPL and perform as a youngster, especially he just come from a under 90 World Cup. So these things, many things went away from them. But Tiwatia was a star in making something. He made a brilliant season with bat and ball. His bowling was really underrated. Many people didn't talk much. Only his heroics with bat against Punjab was talked so much. Then Shreyas Gobal had a off season. Then it was a total team failure apart from a few glimpses here and there and a consistent Jofra Archer.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Jofra Archer, he won the most valuable player of the award also for the tournament itself and clearly showed. Even though Rajasthan finished great, even the few wins they got was mainly because of Jofra Archer. And you had a few good innings from the likes of Sanju Samson, Butler, and Ben Stokes. But overall, in terms of consistency, it was very poor for Rajasthan Royals. And as a result of that, heading into the 2021 season, one major change or one major decision which they've made is to let go of Steve Smith. He was the captain last season. He's been a Rajasthan Royals player for a very, very long time. They made the big call of trying to let him go, and they've given the captaincy to Sanju Samson. So before talking about their 2020 auction and what they did in the 2021 auction and what they did the auction, what do you make of this move of letting go of Steve Smith and installing Sanju Samson as the new captain? And especially you being from Kerala, how proud a moment is this for Kerala cricket? Seeing someone from Kerala going on and leading an IPL franchise, because it's a big thing, right? Because Kerala have had a few cricketers, but no one in the profile of Sanju Samson. So how important it is this decision for Kerala cricket as well?
First of all, coming to Steve Smith means he was overpaid. Everyone knows that he was almost paying 10 CR. If we give a top order batsman 10 CR means you need to have that X factor. Only likes of David Warner or Josh Butler deserves that 10 CR amount as a batsman in IPL. So he was overpaid and his performance wasn't that great as well. We all know Steve Smith is not a great T20 batsman. He can be a good batsman or average batsman in T20s, but if you are paying that much money, you need to have a consistent performance like over 40 average or 145 plus strike rate. But he was not giving for that Rajasthan in last two seasons after that ban. So it was a right decision, but it was a surprise call as well because one season away from mega auction, but they made a really bold decision, but it was by while moving forward, it will be a right decision as well. We have seen they brought in Chris Morris, which we will discuss later. Coming into Sanju Samson, first of all, it is a great moment for Kerala because we don't have that much cricket history, rich cricket history. If you look at only Tinu Johanan, Srishant, etc., but they couldn't make it big. Srishant has played a pivotal role for India in some of the matches or a few years, but he couldn't make it big due to that fixing incident. But Sanju Samson has been a good prospect for us. We all call him as a rare talent or talent, but he didn't convert in international level where he got a few opportunities, maybe little opportunities we can say. But this is a great opportunity for him to captain a IPL side. Especially IPL is known as the best league in the T20 in cricket, and he'll be shouldering with Josh Butler or Ben Stokes or Jofra Archer might come in second half. Then Chris Morris is there, so it will be a great experience for him and a learning curve. We have seen him captaining in Syed Mushtaq Ali for Kerala. He has shown that fearless attitude of strike from ball one and how to play a T20 format. And that's the one reason we have got lots of IPL stars in the Kerala team. If you look at top seven, or everyone has that IPL contract. This season we got Mohammad Asruddin got for a call from RCB. Then Sachin Baby got a call from RCB, and Vishnu Vidon got a call from Delhi Capital. So even others like Robin Uthappa has a IPL contract. Then Jalak Saxena got an IPL contract this season from Punjab Kings. So Kerala as a team was growing, and this side Mushtaq Ali has played a pivotal role. So Sanju Samson had made that changes, playing that fearless intent. So I hope he continues that in Rajasthan Royals as well, because Rajasthan has that players. So Josh Butler is there, Ben Stokes is there, or Rian Parag is there, or Tiwati is there. So they have the players to do the same what he did in Kerala in the side Mushtaq Ali.
Correct. I agree with you completely. The way the Kerala team played in the Syed Mushtaq Ali as a cricket fan was very nice to see. I love the approach Sanju Samson took, and it was very different to what you see from a normal captain, especially a young captain to take that fearless approach. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. But then, of course, IPL is a completely different stage. He'll be working with international stars like the likes of Josh Butler, Ben Stokes, Jofra Archer, Chris Morris, all these experienced international stars, and it'll certainly be a challenge, but it's a great opportunity for Sanju Samson to build himself and potentially get back into Indian contention, because obviously there's the World T20 at the end of the year, and I'm pretty sure that he'll be looking to get into the India squad for that. So talking about this particular auction, obviously the major purchase was obviously Chris Morris. Apart from that, they obviously got the likes of Shivam Dubey and Mustafizur Rahman, but mainly it was about Chris Morris, right? But the biggest,
Yes.
you could say that the biggest most exciting thing about Rajasthan was to see the likes of Jofra Archer and Chris Morris paired together as a fast bowling attack. But unfortunately, we got the news that Jofra Archer is going to be missing at least the first half of the IPL, and potentially we don't know when he's going to come back, if he's going to come back. How big a blow is Jofra Archer going to be not being there? And in general, apart from that, what do you make of their business in the auction alone?
First of all, coming to Jofra Archer, it will be a huge miss. If you look at IPL totally, there will be two bowlers to look forward before the season. One is Jasprit Bumrah, another is Jofra Archer. So we can know what value Jofra Archer brings into the IPL, not only to Rajasthan Royals but into whole IPL. He has been one of the best bowlers in power play as well. We have seen how well he starts first 2 overs, even in recently concluded this England versus India T20 series. So he is a big miss. Everyone knows that and he can contribute with bat as well. So he'll be going to big miss, and they'll be hoping he'll be coming back even in later half of the season. Coming to auction, Chris Morris was a big addition because I never thought Rajasthan will get Chris Morris. It was a big surprise that Punjab Kings didn't win for Chris Morris all way, especially the purse they had. They had the highest purse, and if you look at other options like Giles Richardson or this Meredith, he was inexperienced. Then there is Kyle Jamieson, etc. If you look at all together, Chris Morris was the best bet for any team to bowl in the death overs or in coming in the power play. We have seen how well he bowled for RCB in limited matches in last season. He was breathing fire all 4 overs whenever he got the opportunity with the ball. So Chris Morris is a great addition for this Rajasthan Royals, and other options are Shivan Dubey is a good addition because they didn't had that Indian core. If you look at Indian players, they had only experience from likes of Sanju Samson was there, or a few other guys. Tiwati had experience, but he don't have that international experience. So Shivan Dubey is a really good addition, and they can make a good core in this season. and he can bat at number 6. He can give few overs as well. So Shivan Dube is a good addition, and Fizz is another option. Recently, he was injury prone, or he lost that rhythm which he had in 2016 or something when he played for SRH. But still, he is Mustafizur. Maybe some changes if he can make with Rajasthan camp, it will be better for them, and as well as Mustafizur going into the future. Then Andrew Tai is another addition. Because in recently concluded India vs Australia's T20 series, he was bowling really quick. If you look at old Andrew Tai, he was using these slower balls too many, and he was going for runs. But in recently concluded Australia vs India series, he was bowling really maybe over 140. It will be a good addition because before I am not saying Andrew Tai will be giving the same effect as Geoffrey Archer, or if Mustafizur can bring, even if Mustafizur can bring his best out, but he can't replace Jofra Archer. But still, these are good options to have in the ranks going through the tournament along with Chris Morris. They have made really good calls. If Jofra Archer was available, Jason would have been one of the major contenders for this tournament as well. So they have done well in this auction. Even they brought in Chetan Sakriya from Saurashtra, almost they have that Indian core as well to getting few bench strength. There is Jade Unakat is there. There is now Chetan Sakriya has came in. So they have made some good changes, but Geoffrey Archer will be a big miss. I hope he comes back because everyone wants to see Geoffrey Archer plus Chris Morris bowling together in tandem. If you are not a Rajasthan Royals fan, it will be great for IPL as a fan, or anything if both of them can bowl together.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the prospect of Archer and Morris together, along with someone like Karthik Tyagi, would have been really, really exciting to see, even for a neutral, even if you're not a Rajasthan Royals fan. And definitely Archer would be a big miss. So, talking about Rajasthan Royals and who potentially they could see in terms of fitting into 11. So, we've obviously got the squad here. So, looking into the squad, so first things, Johns, do you expect Josh Butler to continue in the middle order? Because I expect Ben Stokes to be at the top. We've probably got Sanju Samson at 3. So how do you see Butler fitting into the equation? His best position is obviously at the top, but do you think they'll use him in the middle order? So how do you see the top 7 in general lining up first?
Sangakkara hasn't revealed anything so far. Andrew McDonald already stepped down, so it depends on Sangakkara. But last season we have seen how Ben Stokes has played as an opener, so he will be continuing as an opener this season as well. Even Ben Stokes has openly said he likes to play in top order. So Josh Butler, if nothing work for them in the first few matches, maybe he will be coming up the order. But still, I will go with Ben Stokes, then opening with Anju Rawat from Delhi, or Manan Vora. I really like to see Anju Rawat because the way he played for Delhi in recently concluded Vijay Hazare was really well. He was a finisher, but it will be he opens as well. So I really like to see him. Anju Rawat or Manavora. I will prefer Anju Rawat. Then number 3 will be Sanju Samson. Number 4 will be Riyan Parag. I really hope Riyan Parag gets a long run. We have seen last season he was dropped, then he was brought in. He played a few very good knocks as well. So you need to back these talents. How Mumbai Indians did with Ishan Kishan or Surya Kumar Yadav or anyone. So Rajasthan need to trust few youngsters this season. Unless it will be tough for them. Then number 5 will be Josh Butler. I need Josh Butler in middle order because they don't have the experience. If you look at number 4 will be Riyan Parak, number 6 will be Shivan Dube, number 7 will be Tiwatia. So they lack experience in middle order. So I really hope they'll start with Josh Butler as number 5. Then number 6 will be Shivan Dube, number 7 will be Tiwatia, number 8 Markande or Gobal. I think they will be starting with Gobal. Gobal didn't had a great season, but they might go with Gobal because he can contribute with bat as well. But Markande is a good option. Then Karthik Tyagi will be coming in. Chris Morris, he will bat ahead of these guys. Then one last option will be Andrew Tai or Mustafizo. I will start with Andrew Tai because the way he bowled in that India series was really good. So I hope they'll be starting with Andrew Tai in the absence of Jofra Archer.
Yeah, I think obviously the big hole would have been Jofra Archer and trying to fit him into trying to replace him into the in the 11 because if he was there, they'd have such a long batting lineup, and needless to say, his effect with the ball is irreplaceable. There's not many bowlers like Jofra Archer, and of course, maybe you could say Jasprit Bumrah is the closest you can get to Jofra Archer, but he's such a huge miss for Rajasthan Royals, and they'll definitely miss him heading into this season. So after this, obviously there are certain weaknesses as we already discussed for the Rajasthan Royals in terms of how they line up and all that. So if you look at in the absence of Jofra Archer, who do you think could be that X factor player who could propel Rajasthan into the playoff contention? Because at the moment, as you can see, there are some really good players, but the problem is the bowling is in the absence of Archer definitely not as strong as it could be. In the absence of Archer, do you think anyone can take the mantle up? And who do you think is the player who's going to propel Rajasthan Royals from eighth place to a playoff contention this season?
I think it will be Chris Morris. They have paid around 16 years for Chris Morris, so he needs to be that leader. He was the leader for RCB last season. He didn't play much due to injury, but right now he needs to take that leadership role in the bowling unit in the absence of Geoffrey Archer. So one guy will be Chris Morris, and he can contribute with the bat as well. He's not that all Chris Morris who used to play Delhi. We have seen how well he batted. I think around he scored in one match that 18 or 80 not out something against one of the teams in the chase. So he has shown his ability with the bat, but right now Chris Morris is not that all Chris Morris with bat, but still he is one of the best bowlers in the death and even in power play. So Chris Morris need to take the leadership role, especially when your bowling unit consisting of Karthik Tyagi or Tiwatia or Shreyas Gopal or Andrew Tai or Ben Stokes. So Chris Morris will be deciding a huge part for the Rajasthan Royals how they will be starting the season. I hope, as I said earlier, I hope really hope Jofra Archer comes back. So in bowling unit it will be Chris Morris, and in batting unit I think it will be Sanju Samson because Sanju Samson is also the captain. So how well he plays, it will be affecting the team as well, the whole batting unit, and he will be batting at number three as well. Last season he has batted number four, etc. This season he will be going up the order. So number three is a good position for him. I hope if he can lead really well with the bat, it will be a good boost for Rian Parag or Shivan Dubey, etc. Kind of Indian guys who can come and perform. We'll be see Ben Stokes or Josh Butler will be doing well, but the Indian guys hasn't been doing that well for Rajasthan Royals. They have shown glimpses for one or two matches, then they went away. So it will be a huge season for Sanju Samson. Especially you have told that T20 World Cup coming in, so Sanju Samson need to have a big season. Especially Ishan Kishan and Surya Kumar Yadav or Rishabh Pant has sealed that spot. So if Sanju Samson need to have some contention for the T20 World Cup, he needs to have a 500 run season, and he will be playing in Wankhede for 5 matches. So one of his favorite grounds as well, even for whole Rajasthan team. So it will be ideal conditions for them their batting unit to perform really well. So I hope Sanju Samson will be having a great season along with Chris Morris in bowling unit.
Yeah, I think as you said, they're playing Wankhede, especially the first few games is at Wankhede, and even as a new captain, I think Sanju Samson will be desperate to do well, start well with the bat because that will give him confidence as you head into the season. If you have a slightly, if he starts with the bat as a captain, he may lose some confidence, and as a young captain, it's never a good thing to have that problem. And for Rajasthan Royals, if they can get even a few wins in the first 6 or 7 games in the absence of Jofra Archer, once Archer comes back, they become a completely different unit, and that could give them a big boost heading into the second half of the season. So I agree with your points regarding the fact that their first few games are absolutely important. The ones happening at Wankhede, the batting lineup they have, they can chase down anything, they can put down any score. And if Chris Morris can provide the value he did for RCB, where he was genuinely the leader of attack. Personally, I was absolutely shocked that RCB let him go, especially for the price they had, and considering that it's a mini auction with not many very good bowlers available. So Rajasthan Royals did really well to get Chris Morris, and I'm pretty sure he'll have to be the leader of the attack in the absence of Jofra Archer. So we are into the final bit of the show. Obviously, the big question is, can Rajasthan Royals from eighth position get into something really significant, maybe push for the title also? So considering that Jofra Archer is missing and the other things we've all discussed about, what are your predictions about Rajasthan Royals this season, and where do you think they can go under the leadership of Sanju Samson?
If Jofra Archer was available, Rajasthan was the best bet to top four spot, even in top two as well. but we don't know the availability of Jofra Archer. So it will be tough to predict where Rajasthan goes away. It all depends on when Jofra Archer comes back. If Jofra Archer can return after seventh game or eighth game, then they will be surely qualifying to the semi-final. Even especially all the England guys will be available for whole season. Already England has informed that they will be allowing all their players to participate till the final as well. So Josh Butler and Ben Stokes will be available for the whole season. So it all depends on when this Jofra Archer will be returning into Rajasthan camp. So I will be predicting top four spot. I hope if Jofra Archer comes back after seventh or eighth game.
Yeah, I think the Archer factor is so big that we don't even know what Rajasthan Royals, how they'll react in the absence of Archer, because by far the most important player they have. They don't have a replacement. There's no replacement for a player like Archer, and that's how important a player is. So apart from Rajasthan Royals finishing in top two, you obviously mentioned Mumbai Indians also will make the top two. If you had to give a prediction for the other two teams, who do you think could potentially finish in the top four?
I think one will be Sunrisers Hyderabad because their bowling unit is really strong. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar coming really good in this India versus England series makes them their bowling unit really strong. And they will be playing in Chennai, in Chepauk, and they have Mujib, they have Rashid Khan, they have Nabi, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Natarajan. They have lots of options to choose in there, and they have a really good place of spin as well. There is Kane Williamson is there. There is David Warner is there. Bairstow is there. So SRH will be SRH has really great chances if everyone are fit to make into top four. And then one spot will be really difficult to tell. It all depends on how they play. RCB have that issues with death bowling. Even Punjab has that issue with death bowling, and Chennai Super Kings is really tough to predict how they will be playing, especially many of them don't have that international experience for a longer period. Then we don't know how Dhoni going to make 11 because there are lots of options for Dhoni to use in this season compared to last season. So number four spot is really wide open. Even this Rajasthan thing with Jofra Archer injury, the two spots will be wide open. The two Mumbai Indians and Sunrisers will anyway make into the top four if everything goes well for them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very exciting season, definitely. And we don't know what's going to happen because you have the quarantine, you have all these injuries, you don't know how the players are going to react under pressure. And the IPL is finally back in India. Not as usual, but at least it's back in India after 2 years. And definitely, we're all very excited for the IPL, which is starting on the 9th of April. So thanks a lot, Johns. Thanks a lot for taking out your time. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, guys. So whoever is watching, please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot of content lined up. I hope you guys really enjoy the show. And with the IPL starting, we've got so much content lined up. And once again, thanks a lot for joining, Johns. And thank you, guys.
Thank